Well, good morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I've been looking at the temptations of Jesus this week. And today we've got the third and final temptation as Matthew orders them. And it's a temptation of interest to me because it almost seems like Jesus has been toying with Satan instead of Satan toying with Jesus. Satan takes him up to a high mountain. He shows him all the kingdoms of the world. So this must have been some type of a visionary experience or sort. He shows him all the kingdoms of the world. And he says to Jesus, I'll give you all of these if you'll fall down and worship me. Think about that for a minute. Jesus has come to grab the heart, the soul, and the body of humanity. Jesus is God incarnate coming to bring the kingdom of God to the human race, to rescue, ransom, and redeem humanity. And Satan's got to recognize that Jesus chose to come into human form. Now, Satan doesn't know the mind and the heart of God. And so he may be thinking, Jesus, here's your chance. Why go through the suffering that God has for you to bring God's kingdom, which is your kingdom, your God, when you can be a human being and live in the best luxury and have the best life and have all that you want here on this earth? You get it? It's yours. All you have to do is say, I'm in on your side, Satan. It's an interesting temptation. There's a temptation that calls into account Jesus's priorities. There's a temptation that calls into account Jesus's purpose. And as Satan does this, Jesus has a response. I really, really like the response. Jesus says to Satan, first of all, he calls him Satan, which means enemy. And he says, hupage in the Greek. Be gone. Go away. Get out of here. It's an imperative. Just go. Dismissed. You're out. You're bye. One word. Bam. Hupage. You're out of here. And then he calls him the adversary, the enemy, actually. Satana in the Greek, Satan, enemy. He says, and he quotes Deuteronomy 6 again. He says, you worship only God. Only Yahweh God. Only the Lord your God. And him only shall you serve. It's really an interesting concept to think about and personalize in this sense. What is your or my purpose? Whose plans are we following? What priorities guide our life? Is it gathering up kingdoms of the world? Is it what we can get, what we can make, what we can have? Does the one with the most toys in the end really win? Or is there something more to life? Is there a greater purpose, a greater calling? Is there a greater set of priorities than me, and all I can get? There is. That's the beauty of the call that God has on our lives. It's the call that says, put the Lord and his purposes and his plans first. Jesus will say it this way: seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else is taken care of. You'll have what you should have. But what you should have may not be as many toys as you wanted, but it'll be the peace that you crave. It'll be the purpose that gives you meaning, that gets you through your day with a song in your heart and a direction to walk. And that's your video thought for the day.